We've all seen it happen. A huge project, full of promise, something that looks like it's destined for greatness. And then it just completely falls apart. So why does that happen? Well, it's usually not one single catastrophic mistake. Nope. It's almost always the small, foundational decisions that were made before a single person even started working. Today, we're going to dive into the two crucial choices that can literally make or break any project. It's all about getting the how right from day one. So think about it. How does any big idea actually become a reality? What really separates a brilliant concept from a brilliant finished product? Doesn't matter if you're building a skyscraper or launching a new app. The answer isn't some kind of magic. It's all about structure. It's about the framework you decide to build around that idea. And it really all boils down to two fundamental questions. The first one, it's all about the people. How do you actually arrange your team? Are they in a rigid pyramid, or is it something a lot more fluid? And look, this isn't just about drawing up some org chart. The way you structure your team defines everything: how they communicate, what their real focus is, and ultimately, what they're even capable of creating together.
And the second question, well, that's the million-dollar one. And sometimes I mean that literally. How in the world do you predict the future? Estimating the time, the efforts, and the cost of a project is easily one of the most difficult and most critical parts of the entire planning process.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's tackle that first big question. How do you organize the people? As it turns out, you can pretty much boil it down to two completely different, almost opposite ways of thinking about it. So first up, we've got the functional structure. Now this is your classic old-school model. It was made popular way back in the Industrial Revolution by companies like Ford. Just picture a traditional company with those very distinct departments. All the engineers report to an engineering manager, all the marketers to a marketing director. Basically, everyone stays in their own lane, focusing on their specific area of expertise.
But then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got the projectized structure. Now this is really interesting. Here, you pull people out of their different departments and bring them all together to form a dedicated, mission-focused team. It's kind of like a movie crew that's been assembled for just one film. Everyone, from the engineer to the marketer to the designer, reports directly to one single person, the project manager.
And this is where you can really see the trade-offs, clear as day. In that traditional functional world, the number one focus is the department. The huge advantage is you get this incredible depth of knowledge. But you also get what we call silos. The engineering team has no clue what the marketing team is up to, and that can slow everything to a crawl. On the flip side, in a projectized world, the project is king. The project manager has all the authority, which makes the team incredibly fast and cohesive. But what's the big risk? What happens when the project is over? There's no home department to go back to, and that can create a lot of insecurity.
Okay, let's switch gears and move on to our second big question. How do we plan for the unknown? This is all about the art and the science of estimation. And just like with team structures, there are two main schools of thought here too.
First, you've got top-down estimating. The easiest way to think about this is as the quick ballpark guess. It's when you look at a brand new project and you just say, this feels a whole lot like that other project we did last year, and that one costs about this much. It's fast and it relies heavily on past experience and historical data. And this is precisely why it's so powerful in the early days of a project. Just imagine you're kicking around a new idea. You don't have all the nitty-gritty details yet, but you absolutely need to know. Are we talking about a $1,000 project or a $1 million one? A top-down estimate gives you that crucial sense of scale so you can decide if it's even worth pursuing in the first place.
And this ballpark guess isn't always as simple as it sounds. Sure, you can make a direct comparison to a past project, or you can get a little more statistical, like using the average cost per square foot to estimate a construction job. You can even get super sophisticated and use complex computer models that run thousands of what-if scenarios to figure out the most likely cost. But the core idea is always the same. You're using big-picture data to make a really smart, educated guess.
Now, the other side of the coin is bottom-up estimating. And this is the super detailed, itemized budget approach. Instead of making one big guess for the whole project, you break the entire thing down into the smallest possible tasks you can think of. Then you estimate each single one individually, and then you add it all up.
So, why on earth would you go through all that trouble? Well, it comes down to one word: precision. A top-down guess, that could be off by 50%, maybe even more. But when you build an estimate from the ground up, piece by painful piece, you can get it down to an incredible level of accuracy.
sometimes as tight as plus or minus 2%. It's really the difference between a rough sketch on the back of a napkin and a detailed architectural blueprint.
And that kind of precision doesn't just happen by magic. It starts with something called a work breakdown structure, or a WBS for short. Think of it as the ultimate to-do list for the entire project. It maps out every single task that needs to get done. Once you have that WBS, it becomes the spine of your whole project. From there, you can attach a price tag to every little piece, building what's called a cost breakdown structure, or CBS, that's not only detailed, but totally defensible. So, now we've got these different ways to organize our people, and these different ways to estimate the work. The big question is, how on earth do you choose the right one for your project?
And the most important thing to take away from all this is that there is no single best answer. These aren't competing ideas where one is always better than the other. They're just different tools for different situations. The right choice depends completely on the context of your specific project.
So let's try to put it all together. Let's say you're at the very beginning of a project. Things are still pretty fuzzy, there's a lot of uncertainty. You need stability. That's where a functional structure really helps, by keeping your experts in their home departments while you use a top-down estimate to just get a feel for the budget. But what if the goal is crystal clear and you just need to get it done, fast? Well, you need a focused, mission-driven team. That screams projectized structure. And you need a precise plan, which means you're going to build a detailed bottom-up estimate. See how they fit together?
At the end of the day, you really should think of all these frameworks as a manager's toolkit. One isn't better than the other. The true art of project management isn't just knowing how to use each tool, but having the wisdom and the experience to know which one the situation calls for right now.
When you think about it, the greatest projects really do succeed or fail long before the actual work even begins. It all comes back to these foundational choices. So, the real question is this. For your next big idea, have you chosen the right framework? Are you building on solid ground, or are you starting out on a foundation that's already starting to shake?